Welcome back. We have arrived on Pollux 5 to investigate the sighting of some demons who have apparently caused at least one injury here. Seems pretty unlikely to me that we are dealing with actual demons, but we'll see. It's not like the crew of the Enterprise has not dealt with gods or things like that before. And I'm not talking about the god-awful Star Trek V. That one doesn't exist, don't you know? I've actually wanted to play this game for quite a while, and the reason I kept not doing it is I was thinking, like, I haven't really seen the original Star Trek for a very long time. I've seen the movies quite a lot, but the actual show, not so much, so I kind of felt like I should watch it before, or rewatch it before I start playing this. But unfortunately, I just don't really have that kind of time anymore. So I figured I'm just gonna play it. It makes a few references to the show, and I know some of them. It's not like I'm completely ignorant on the subject, after all. Let's look around a little bit more here. There's a sign. All mining equipment use this road. Okay. Well, it's the only road, so makes sense.
A beautiful snow-covered scene with a path leading off to Mount Idle. High Prelate Angiven waits patiently for you to decide what you will do next.
It kind of looks like he isn't wearing shoes. That must be very cold on this snowy ground.
A quickly constructed Spartan shelter, primarily used by fledgling colonies. A quickly constructed...
That's the same description.
A quickly constructed... Remnants of a recent snowfall cover the ground. Remnants of a recent snowfall...
Can we get some snow?
You fail to obtain anything.
Or maybe we can use the snow. We cannot. One thing you can actually do with the use icon before actually doing anything, you can pick something from your inventory to use, obviously, but you can also click on your crew members to make a specific crew member do something. Anyway, we should probably talk to some of the other colonists, and Prelate Angiven said they were in the chapel, and I have no idea where that is. Presumably one of these two buildings. Let's check this one first. I guess this is the right building, although this looks less like a chapel and more like a warehouse.
A chapel, typical of the Acolytes of the Stars.
I guess it's a chapel. Nice view, at least.
A majestic view of Mount Idle can be seen through the skylight. Boxes of supplies and mining equipment litter the floor.
Yes, which is why it's strange to me that this is a chapel.
James Kirk takes time to rest and ponder the remainder of the mission.
Like I said, different descriptions on pretty much every screen.
Spock waits for your command, patient as ever. McCoy looks anxiously about the room. Ensign Everts cannot take his eyes off the sight of Mount Idle.
We're not here to sightsee, Ensign. Anyway, I guess this is a chapel. I can tell you one thing, it's not Nurse Chapel. Ba-doom-tsh.
A sturdy man of advanced years whose blue eyes meet yours with clarity, curiosity, and directness.
Let's talk to him.
I am worried about Brother Chub. Can you examine him, Doctor?
I'm assuming Brother Chub is the guy in the chair here, with all the bandages.
You'll understand if I don't stand up, I hope. I am not well.
I will. Well, if we want to examine him, let's use the medical tricorder for that.
Jim, this man has suffered severe physical injuries to his head and arm. The wounds have been adequately cared for. However, he has developed a Nugarian infection. If not treated swiftly, the effects can be fatal. The infection can normally be treated with hypoditoxin. but there's none on the Enterprise.
I may be of some assistance. The Lorexian berry grows near the mouth of the cave. If I could acquire it, I would be able to synthesize the hypoditoxin from the berry. Unfortunately, the demons prevent us from approaching the cave entrance. Perhaps you could retrieve it for me.
Oh, missed the second screen there. Alright, well I guess McCoy was right about this planet's plant life having medicinal purposes. Can we at least, like, give him something for the pain or something? Wait, no, that's not what I mean. The, medical kit?
This man is getting worse. We've got to find those berries before he dies.
I guess we cannot. Can't talk to him for now, probably.
This man is in no condition to talk.
A few other people here.
A grim-faced minor colonist nods curtly at you. He is too busy consoling the wounded man.
And this looks like a Tellarite.
The Tellarite appears completely at home surrounded by humans, but the wrinkling on his brow indicates a great deal of worry. He is too busy consoling the wounded man.
Looks like nobody here will talk to us until we deal with Brother Chub's injuries, and that is the person we want to talk to most anyway, since he was there. It looks like Prelate Angiven has gone elsewhere. I think the important thing to do right now is to get those berries, which should grow at the foot of the mountain, so let's ignore this building for now, and let's head towards the mountain. What? Those are Klingons. That's kind of weird. So let's... Oh, that's wrong. Let's quickly use our phasers.
You see a small explosion, and the Klingon's hand falls to the ground with a dull thud.
I guess they don't make Klingons like they used to, sir.
Well, you were no help whatsoever. Aren't you the security officer? Isn't shooting people your job?
Captain, we registered phaser fire and an unknown energy beam. Is everyone okay?
We're fine. Did you register any disruptor fire?
No, Captain. Why? Are there Klingons down there?
No, just an idea. Kirk out.
Fascinating. I begin to suspect that we have stumbled upon something that the colonists would never have uncovered.
What is it, Spock?
I wish to gather further data before making a definite conclusion, Captain.
Very interesting. So in the same area where the colonists were seeing demons, we just saw Klingons. Klingons who exploded after being shot and whose hand fell off. That's kind of weird.
They look like Klingons. You get no response.
I guess not. They are well, unconscious. We only shot them on stun. Doesn't look like they're getting up anytime soon. Can we scan them?
This is not a Klingon, Captain. Not a real one. It is an organic construct, an android-like robot. It looks like a Klingon, but the appearance is entirely superficial. There is something different about this particular construct. Come here, Captain. Look at the hand. It seems to have been separated from the body. There's a wiring circuit in the middle of the palm.
Okay. So they're fake Klingons. The plot thickens. Then there's his hand.
It's the Klingon's detached hand.
Can I tricorder that?
This is a detached hand with some kind of circuitry in the palm, Captain.
That would definitely be worth picking up, I think.
You take the Klingon's detached hand.
You look at it in the inventory.
This hand was taken from the Klingon outside the cave.
You can also tricorder things in the inventory sometimes. Sometimes you can't. It's kind of vague what you can use on each other on the inventory, which is annoying. Alright, let's look around here a little bit more. Got lots of flowers here.
These branzite pods add a nice touch to the local flora.
But not the berries we seek. The stream?
A small stream flows down toward the forest.
And the mountain.
Mount Idle rises above you.
With a cave.
You see the mine entrance ahead.
I was going to say that's presumably the mine.
Mount Idle rises above. James Kirk filled with a premonition of more dangers yet to come. Your Vulcan science officer seems to be lost in thought, but remains alert. Ensign Everett seems to be rattled by the attack of the Klingons.
Should be more worried about his own performance during that attack. If you don't react quickly enough, they can't shoot you. I think in this particular mission they are actually kind of nice and they just stun you. In other missions, you can lose crew members this way.
Dr. McCoy is still hoping the cold winds that whip around Mount Idle will soon die down.
It can actually also be worth talking to everybody on every screen.
We were caught flat-footed there. I don't want any more surprises to catch us off guard.
And that's directed at you, Ensign Everts, in case you weren't aware.
Captain, I detect a recent avalanche approximately 6.2 kilometers away that occurred within the last 3 days. The mountain may be quite dangerous.
Demons, Klingons, avalanches. What's next? The Wicked Witch of the West?
That is not logical, Doctor.
It wasn't supposed to be logical, you green-blooded Vulcan. Why does everything have to be so damn logical?
Okay, calm down.
I guess this isn't such a great planet after all.
Well, Klingons will tend to ruin every planet. At least, original series era Klingons.
Well, we've seen Klingons. Now all we need is a few Romulans.
Control your thoughts, Doctor. There is a high probability that something here is using our own memories against us.
Spock is strongly hinting at what he thinks is the case here. It does look like we were shown something that we were expected to be afraid of, which for us would be Klingons, and for the colonists would be demons. No way to know for sure just yet. Can we get anything from the Klingons?
You fail to obtain anything.
No. No berries here, so let's keep looking. That's the mine entrance.
Mine entrance.
That's what I said.
A Gindorian fern.
Ah, of course. No better way to make up alien-sounding things by just slapping a random word in front of an actual thing.
A Gindorian fern. Various types of berries grow amongst the bushes.
Are these the berries we seek?
These seem to be Laraxian berries, Captain. They have several medicinal uses, but Dr. McCoy would know more.
Jim, these are the berries we need to synthesize the hypodetoxin. We must get these to Brother Stephen quickly.
Alright, those are the berries we need. So let's get them.
You have retrieved a sample of berries.
And let's head back. Berries in hand. Well, I doubt we could just feed him the berries. Probably need to do something with them.
Oh, I see you found the berries. Meet me in my lab.
I guess that's what we need to do. Meet him in his lab. Considering we've only seen one other structure here, I'm assuming that's his lab. We didn't talk to our crew in this room, did we?
Just thinking to myself, don't mind me.
Okay, I won't.
The medical methods of these people seem primitive to me, Doctor.
By our standards, yes. Here the Acolytes prefer a simpler lifestyle. Unfortunately, this is one of the consequences.
Yeah, that is not something I would be willing to give up if I wanted to live a simpler lifestyle. It's kind of an interesting thing that one of my favorite sci-fi authors, Peter Hamilton, has also commented on. I believe it was in the Night's Dawn trilogy, where he commented that essentially, in order to have this kind of rural settlement work without, people dying of disease and infection and whatever, you need to reach a certain level of technology first, so you can essentially make sure that people are either immune or otherwise not affected by those kinds of things. Which I thought was an interesting idea.
My Uncle John lived with the Acolytes a long time ago. He died in their service helping plague victims on New Ontario 6 20 years ago.
The Acolytes did a lot of good work for the needy in this quadrant.
It will be good to help them for a change.
Well, as much as the negative connotations with the word sect, these at least seem to be good guys.
This man needs help, Jim, and I wouldn't want to put it off for too long.
I don't think you can actually put it off for too long. As tends to be the case in these types of games. Alright, let's go check out this other building, presumably the lab. And
Welcome to my study. Feel free to look around. My medical and scientific equipment is surely not so sophisticated as you're accustomed to, but if there's anything you wish to use, please feel free. Also, I would be interested in anything you might have to show me.
okay, either Brother Stephen went out the back door, or he has a transporter. Interesting looking lab.
This appears to be a study and lab. The equipment looks very ancient.
Still has a nice view.
A majestic view of Mount Idle can be seen through the skylight. Assorted pieces of glass rest on this table, from ancient beakers to double burners.
And a computer.
An old-fashioned computer. It appears to have some type of simulation running. A multi-purpose workspace with fine, well-worn tools and equipment close at hand. A glass-fronted display of mineral specimens, including a meteorite, a few fossil shells, the skull of a cat-sized alien animal, and a very encrusted twist of metal. An antiquated molecular synthesizer sits in the corner.
Presumably we will need one of these things for the berries.
Captain Kirk wonders what is going to happen on this mission.
You never know.
Ensign Everts finds himself fascinated by the Acolytes and their planet. Dr. McCoy is glad that he is in a warm, heated room.
They really just went all out with that Dr. McCoy is cult theme here, didn't they?
Mr. Spock finds the scientific equipment in this room to be rather primitive.
Well, I can't say I blame him. Those Starfleet uniforms do not look very comfy, to be honest, for a cold climate.
Well, what happens next?
I don't know. You tell me.
I wonder if any of this stuff might be useful.
It probably will be.
This place looks real comfortable. Place to combine work, contemplation. Man's got an eye for the beauty of useful things, and for the use of beautiful things. I think we could get along fine.
Really? I guess if you're a fan of metal gray.
This study represents a man with a keen mind, Captain. To judge by what I see, there is little which does not interest him. The equipment is antiquated, but practical.
Brother Stephen watches patiently as you examine his study.
I never dreamed that Starfleet would be interested in my discoveries, Captain. But our God often surprises us.
I guess he does. Can we give him the berries?
The settings on the Ardak 4 have already been adjusted. Simply place the berry in the machine and the hypoditoxin will be synthesized.
The Ardak 4, presumably one of the things here. I believe it's actually this thing.
Fascinating, Captain. It is an Ardak 4 molecular synthesizer, a museum piece in perfect working order.
So let's just put the berries in there.
The machine synthesizes a quantity of hypoditoxin.
We've got to get this to Brother Chub as quickly as possible, Jim.
There it is.
A flask of hypoditoxin processed from the berries of this planet.
Alright, let's go and administer that before Brother Chub's condition deteriorates. Brother Steven snuck out the back door again.
Thank you. You're most kind.
And now that we've done that, we can talk to him.
I headed up the party that sought to rescue Brother Kandri. Without warning, the demons appeared and attacked us as we approached the mine.
Can you tell us what they look like?
Like the demons that have plagued devout folk since before our people left the earth. Huge, muscular demons with ruddy skin, truly the manifestation of evil, with bat wings, horns and talons and a pointed tail. God preserve us all. One tore open my arm and I surely would have perished, but for my companions who bore me back down the mountain.
The demons didn't follow you?
No.
Interesting. As if they're more interested in protecting the mountain than harming the colonists. I believe the other two are also willing to talk now.
Brother Kandre is my partner. I was on the communications link when the demons caused the rockfall and silenced him. He said he'd found a strange door with devilish writing. Truly, he came upon the gate of hell itself.
That's what I do when I find a strange door. I just immediately assume it's a gate to hell.
I am Brother Griznash. I went up the mountainside in solitary prayer, seeking to face my fears. Indeed, I found them. A bellowing Krognik demon with sharp teeth and a long snout descended upon me in a rush of wind.
Captain, a Krognik demon has a decidedly wolfish appearance. Brother Griznash, is this not the traditional shape of the Evil One and his minions among Tellarites?
It is.
I believe this may be significant, Captain.
Indeed. We're seeing more evidence here that what we're seeing is based on our own fears. Human colonists saw demons from human mythology. The Tellarites saw a Tellarite demon, and our crew saw Klingons. Very, very interesting. I believe we do need to take a closer look at that mountain and figure out what exactly is going on there. I actually want to look around in the lab a little bit more first. If this happened to me in real life, I would be really freaked out by this guy. We looked around the lab, but let's use the tricorder on a few things. Gives us more information.
Residue of several different compounds are in the tubes. None of the compounds would explain the sightings.
Okay, so I guess massive hallucination is unlikely, especially since it also happened to us.
A vintage 8012-86 of the mid-21st century. It is a fine museum piece.
Sure. 8012-86. Back before the Pentium, I guess they just thought that Intel would keep naming their processors like that forever. They did not. I believe... Can we use this? Computer?
Captain, this appears to be a model of the Earth. Notice how it models a proper situation for a total eclipse.
I guess it does.
I never dreamed.
Nothing to report, Captain.
Alright. I guess that's just a table. How about these things?
I read a collection of small items of no evident value. I would characterize this as a small museum display, Captain.
Can we do anything with that?
You are interested in my little museum of curiosities?
Looks like a pile of junk if you ask me.
Again, we get useless choices to be rude.
Yes, tell us about these things. Where did you find all this? Looks like a pile... Yes, tell us about these things.
Let's have him tell us.
I enjoy talking about these treasures. Shall I go into mineral specimens?
Let's ask him about everything.
True curiosities, nothing more. I think they're very pretty, don't you? Shall I go into mineral specimens? Meteorite. I believe this is evidence of the cataclysm which destroyed the moon of Pollux 5 eons past. I've constructed a theoretical model based on analysis of the planet's rings of what things might have been like. I think that the moon, like Earth's moon, would have made a total eclipse of the sun possible. I would have liked to have seen that. For conditions making a perfect total eclipse are rare in the universe. Our God creates great wonders. Shall I go into mineral specimens?
I guess that's the reason why he has a model of the Earth in the situation of a total eclipse on his computer. Because he is studying what the moon of this planet was like before it was destroyed.
Meteor fossil shells. One of the oldest forms I've seen on this planet. Our God makes beautiful things indeed. Shall I go into mineral specimens? Fossil skull of a small alien animal. The skull of a modern Silati, the largest creature native to this planet, about the size of a house cat from Earth. The Silatis combine a rather insectoid pattern with four-legged reptilian form, including praying mantis-like forelimbs. Shall I go into mineral specimens?
That sounds like an interesting looking animal.
Fossil skull twist of metal. This chunk of rock is a greatly weathered example of a vanadium tungsten alloy, which doesn't occur naturally. It is my best evidence that the area was previously inhabited. Shall I go into mineral specimens?
Now that is interesting. Somebody else was here. I wonder what happened to them.
Meteor fossil skull twist of, or would you rather move on to something else? Very well. I can't imagine why, but if you have a further interest in any of this, take what you like. But please remember to return my treasures when you're done with them.
And we can indeed, only after talking to him, I believe, take anything we want from this this display. That's the skull of the animal, I believe. Mineral specimens, the meteorite, the fossils, and the twist of metal. Kind of a weird looking thing. Now, when I was preparing for this Let's Play, I replayed the game, and I thought, let's see how well I do without looking up a walkthrough or anything. Because I haven't played this in quite a while. And I kind of thought, like, well, he says so strongly that he wants you to return his items, and this game does score you, so I thought maybe that's one of the things you need to do to get a good score, is not take anything you don't actually need. But no, you can just take everything and you don't have to return it. I'm not entirely sure if you can return it. I think you can. There is no penalty for having these things with you at the end of the mission. And in fact, it's probably better if you do, because if you try to be smart about it and only come back when you know for sure you need something, there's one thing that you're very unlikely to realize that you need. If you want to get a higher score, anyway. Not something you need to complete the mission. I'm being very cryptic. It will all become clear. And this screen still shows all the stuff there, which makes no sense.
An old corroded twist of metal.
Can we tricorder that? Oh. I meant to do this.
A manufactured vanadium tungsten alloy of considerable age and indeterminate use.
We can. Interesting. I wonder what it was.
A sample of a local life form called a salati, the largest animal reported on this planet. About the size of an Earth house cat, the salatis have an insectoid reptilian genotype with praying mantis-like forelimbs.
I know you're trying to sound smart or something, but you're literally repeating exactly what Brother Steven just said. So I'm not that impressed.
A variety of rock specimens, including native silver, azurite, crystalline forms of various minerals. A completely ordinary nickel-iron meteorite. Fossil shells in limestone substrate, compatible with local geologic features.
Alright, I think there's nothing else of interest for us here. So we will head back up to the mountain and head into the mine to see what we can find. Hopefully not any more Klingons. But we will do so in the next video.